There's a project on a few people's minds lately, and it's this, the World War II German 221 armoured car. We haven't had an update on this since February. Finally, we're doing a bit of work on it again. Our master of sheet metal, Al, has had surgery on his neck, and on the doctor's orders, he's had to take a bit of a break from restoration projects. His fellow military hardware restorer, Jono, has been helping the boys on other vehicles. Daryl and Jesse are between jobs at the moment, so they have a little bit of time up their sleeve to progress the 221 to a point where we can send it away to be sandblasted and primed so that it can be finished later. This week, we're going to recap some of the story so far. Daryl will take us through where we're up to, and finally, we're putting some panels on.
Hi, I'm Kurt from Oz Armour, and welcome to Workshop Wednesday.
There are no surviving complete 221 armoured cars, so finding measurements or indeed any other info on this was really challenging. The parts we started with were a jigsaw puzzle. The chassis and body panels were going to have to be put back together after being completely cut up. Luckily, this isn't Al's first rodeo.
We'll make a jig, set it up, tack it, check it that it's all square. Thickest plate on there is about not even 10 mil, might be just 10 mil, so it's not big plate. It's only designed to withstand rifle fire, not big artillery. No. Yeah, hopefully what you and Bo bring back from overseas might work.
To get Al started, Bo and I had to head to the Czech Republic to visit our good friend Dimitri to get some crucial measurements.
Let's take it out, no, not too small, and measure well. Take it from below. I wish I have all my boys so big as you are.
Dimitri has an incredible collection of parts and has helped us out with a lot of restoration projects over the years. He sold us the package of parts that Al will be working on, but he will be restoring his own 221 in the near future. It's these parts that he's allowed us to measure.
So this angle is not the same as this angle. So what we've had to do is measure the distance at the bottom, mark the center, transfer the center line to the top, and then measure how far that is on that side and how far it is on this side.
And you've had to do that for every panel?
Each panel, plus then work out where the hole is in the center, where the holes are, all of that good stuff. I don't even know what all these other parts are. I was going to get out this door here just to measure the sizing of that. I'm pretty sure this is an engine, rear engine vent. So I'm going to take this out also and measure that up. You see that side profile and angles?
It's like cardboard.
It took a while, but Bo eventually got all of the measurements we needed for the hull and turret. Now to see Dimitri's chassis.
What actually went on here? Did they have a floor pan or?
Actually, no one knows. Here, where you touch, exactly here. Here comes a base for a gun mount. In 251 there is a frame for floor, which holds it a little bit above, but in others, no one knows.
Not sure.
That's the thing with rebuilding vehicles like this. Since no one has done it before, and since none survive, there are hardly any references or anything to go off. When we got back to Australia, Bo transcribed his drawings into CAD and passed the chassis measurements onto Al, which he used to meticulously rebuild the chassis.
I've had to build a jig to sit it on to get it as straight as we can. I started on the bench first with the rear end, put it up onto the jig. We had uprights on it to keep it all the right measurement all the way through. Well, today we're working on an A-arm. This carries the wheels. Once this is all together, we're to make up two circles, 140 diameter, with about a 25 mil riser, which will centralise the two springs that come up and go up into the top of the chassis. check, check, check.
Al had a total of 8 of these to make. Eventually he got them all to the point where he could put the next component on.
This is the axle, goes through on the chassis, and we just lock it up with 2 big nuts on the outside. But I've got to get them straight so they line up with the holes in the chassis over there. There he goes.
Al had to fabricate these frames, but we did manage to get original wheel hubs.
This is what hooks onto the actual hub that carries the axles through into the differential. This has to go through there. This big nut goes on here once we put it all on, and then this bolts onto the hub where the axles come out of and go into the differential. Your rim fits over that and bolts onto the outside of this one.
As we've stated, this is only an external cosmetic restoration, combining original and fabricated parts. We don't have any plans on making this one a runner, but as always, it is something that could be done in the future. So now we head into some footage that we haven't shown before. Al designed a suspension system, incorporating an imitation shock absorber.
Yay. There. And then that.
All throughout this process, Jono has been helping Al with his extensive mechanical knowledge. He has worked wonders with these badly damaged wheel assemblies, fitting new bearings and making this thread usable.
Just use the grinding paste.
Oh, yeah.
And backwards and forwards until they went up and down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go back and we can fold those little tabs over. That's the spacer.
Yep.
Yep.
Don't go putting 150 foot-pounds of torque into it now.
No. We'll put the wheel cover on, and that's to protect the threads in the bearing.
And that was the last we got of Al working on the 221, but hopefully it won't be the last we see of him. Now Daryl, Jesse and Jono have taken over the project. Here's Daryl with a new and improved smile to take us through a summary of the work done, some interesting features of the vehicle, and where we're taking the restoration from here.
Nice new tooth, Daryl. Give us a look. Wow.
The missus is happy as well, I can tell you. What we're looking at here is one of the rarest armoured cars that the Germans produced before the war. There's very little information about them. This came to us all blown up, it's all in pieces. It's all armoured plate, 6mm armoured plate or 8mm armoured plate on the sides here. And you can just see where it's all been fractured and shattered. Plus, where it came from, the farmer cut pieces out of it. The guy that salvaged this for us, he actually got all the parts. You can see how the farmer's already cut out rectangular pieces to use for somewhere on the farm. This big rectangular piece cut out here, that was gone. So he's obviously used that piece for something else. If you don't get to him in time, there's not much left. Al did the majority of the work on this chassis and it was blown up and twisted and he's had to rejoin it back together. We don't have a proper chassis straightening jig here, so it's probably got about a 10mm twist in it, which is good enough for what we want. Yeah. The engine compartment goes in here. You've got the engine here and the radiator in front of it. And on the top, there's a big vent that the area that can suck the air in through to the radiator. What we've done here, we've made a skeleton frame because we don't have all the angles or the lengths, and what we do to find that is we use a really good reference book and a model, and we go between the two. If we measure something on the model and it's 405, we measure something on the book, it's 415, we go a 410. Put a string line down the middle, coming from the front to the rear, and we're just positioning everything as close as we can to centre.
This sort of chassis was used on a few different vehicles, Daryl.
No, this is only a 221 chassis, and the way you can pick that, and thanks to Mr. Hilary Doyle for his great books that we reference, the chassis has this bend here. The other thing about a 221 versus a 222 or 223 is the hull goes to the inside of the chassis rails. Here we're recreating hold down points for the actual hull, and they'll be mounted back here. On a 222 and 223, they're at the front. We were lucky, Curtis was over here one day. I said, somewhere on here there's a number, and Curtis goes, what, that number there? I hadn't even seen it. So what we have here is an 8, 1, and we believe a 0, because this is a 221 chassis, and that would be the next number. And we're struggling to make out the next two numbers, but then we've got a 1. So this falls into the category of a 221, not a problem. Then there's these other numbers here that they've been double stamped, we're just not quite sure why. There's 3 series of 221s, but it's only slight modifications from what I can make out. The basic shape and design stayed the same. But what we're doing here is a upgraded version. Originally when they came out, I believe they had an MG13, and then in 1938, they were all upgraded and changed to MG34s. What we've decided, we've got the Shield, we've got a Panzer Bush 41, and this is the rarest version you probably get of a 221, so that's what we're going to run with. Panzer Bush is a very rare weapon. It's actually the squeeze bore. What we have here in the museum is a couple of rounds. We've got a HE round, then you've got the standard AP round, armour piercing. There's a cutaway version. That's the tungsten core inside. And these skirts here start at 28mm, and as it goes down the barrel, they fold back. And when it comes out the end of the barrel, it's 20mm. That's the barrel we're using. As you can see, it's got the distinctive muzzle brake on the end. We were also lucky to, when Bo was in the Czech Republic last year, he actually got a chance to measure up a 221 turret. But there's slight modifications to take the Panzerbusch. Here is the turret that we've made up from the measurements that Bo was able to get, but we have to modify it to take the Panzerbusch gun. You see how the turret's been cut away for the gun to fit in? We now have to trim these parts down to shape the turret to suit the gun. I've laid it out and got the shape on this plywood board. Now I'll draw the inner base. You just don't go ahead and draw it until we've double checked it all. You know, it's quite expensive to go and start cutting steel up and find out it's wrong. Done it before, don't want to do it again.
So after many painful days staring at the CAD interface, utilising all the scaling and trigonometric skills at his disposal, Daryl managed to submit drawings of the plates that we required to our steel supplier, who laser cut them. Now it's time to fit them to the skeleton frame.
Hold on. Yep. That's pretty good. All right.
Clamp it up, we'll have a good look at it.
That's it, Daryl. We'll have to just cut into that a little bit. Grab your hand out.
Can you reach across from the other side, Jess, without dumping in or not? Yep. Hold there.
No, it's all right. You right? Get the fingers out.
What I'll do is I'll just run a 1mm grinding disc through there.
Looks like we need a little bit more of a gap for the weld to penetrate between the two plates.
Alright, let him go, Jono. Yep. If anything's going to be out, it's going to be this one.
Scaling off such small drawings and models will inevitably lead to some inaccuracies when it comes to the real thing, but I have to say, to only be a few millimetres out on one plate is really impressive.
Oh, some bloke probably, measured it wrong.
No.
Around here we don't give away names that did it.
Good, Jono? Have we got a clean?
Along here or something, Jono? Wherever you can get a clean. That area there.
If that goes in, that'll fix it up.
So does it need to come my way a bit?
That's the gap you want in it.
Yeah, well, I'm happy with that. You're right, your side.
There. We're just a little bit back on that, but the other one sits on it and comes across to here.
Yeah. Here, hold on. Let's go.
Yeah, but we're not getting down tight enough, are we?
Push down again? Yeah. Alright. Yep, let go. Yep. I'll just quickly tack this corner.
Middle there. Looking the goods now. Let's see what it looks like.
How's that at the top, Jono? About the same as the other side?
It's just proud. Down. Got it?
No, that's good. That's about the same as the other side.
Where's our table? Right.
Okay.
I think so. Right.
Good to go?
Hold on. Up with it. Can you pull that in round? Right. All good?
Come on, Daryl.
The workshop just hasn't been the same without Al. He has to stay off the tools for the rest of the year, but hopefully he can come in occasionally and supervise the boys and keep them in line. Even though it's only going to be a static display, it's going to be a really neat and rare exhibit when it's finished. But that's all we have time for today. Join us next Wednesday for your weekly tank restoration fix. So until then, I'm Kurt from Oz Armour. I'll see you on the next one.